everybody. Today we are going to talk about my favorite books from 2021, starting with The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. In this book, Aidan Bishop is thrown into the middle of a murder mystery arena, and he's told that in order to escape, he has to solve the murder of Evelyn Hardcastle, and he has 8 days to do it. The twist is that every day is the same, and every day he's going to wake up in the body of a different member of the household. It's Clue meets Groundhog Day, and it has an ending that I did not. The reason that I really love this book so much is because it has all my favorite elements from a great mystery novel, but it also has a really unique twist that I have never seen before. So if you want to check this book out, you can come and get it from the library, or you can also check it out on our Libby and Hoopla apps. The next book on my list is Beach Read by Emily Henry, and this was one of my favorite romance novels that I read this year, and it has all the great elements of a romance novel. You have enemies to lovers, you have the next door neighbor who's a brooding academic writer who's in love with his neighbor, but he can't admit it because of a murky past, and there's a bet involved, so a great romance novel always has a bet involved. But the reason I really love this book and other books by Emily Henry is because she does such a great job of writing dynamic, well-rounded characters, which I feel like is kind of rare in other romance novels. But she does a good job of writing characters that feel really real and complicated and have great background stories. So once again, you can check this one out from the library, or you can get it on the Libby app. Third one on the list is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. In this story, Nora is a 30-something who can't seem to catch a break, and she's convinced that if she could just go back in time and make a few different decisions, then her whole life would be way better. And then she gets the chance to test that theory. I love this book because it reminded me of why I love to read. It's a story that says life isn't so serious and there's no right or wrong path most of the time, but if you're moving forward, you're probably moving in the right direction. So you can check this one out on the Libby app too, or you can always come in and get it at the library. And last up, we have The Star-Crossed Sisters of Tuscany by Lori Nelson Spielman. This story centers around a family curse where the second daughters in the family are doomed to be alone forever. And then one day, their great Aunt Poppy calls them up and takes them on a whirlwind trip to Italy to try to break the family curse. And the result is adventure, love, and the realization that we all get to decide our own fate. I loved this story a lot because it wasn't what I was expecting. I didn't really have any great expectations for the book, and it ended up being really uplifting and heartwarming and a really, really joyful read. So highly recommend this one, and this one is also available on our Libby app.
Hi everyone, my name is Amanda here from the Bourbonnais Public Library District. Today I'm going to share with you my top reads of 2021. The first one I have is The House in the Cerulean Sea. This book just feels like a warm hug. It's so beautifully written. I really enjoyed it. Read it very early this year, and I'm still thinking about how much I loved it. So that's a good sign. This book follows a man named Linus who works in the department in charge of magical youth. And basically his job is to go to these orphanages that house these children with special abilities. And they're really kept separate from everyone else in the society. And his job is to see if they're running properly. He's tasked with going to this special house in which some dangerous children live with very powerful magical abilities, and to see really if things are happening how they should be and if everything is safe. And the characters he meets there are so lovely. These children are just wonderful. They have these incredible magical powers, but they're really just children who love to laugh and play and have fun. So the found family aspect in this was my absolute favorite, and I loved the social commentary as well. This book just honestly felt like so cozy and lovely, so definitely recommend this. The next one I have is The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary. Beth O'Leary is one of my favorite authors probably. I just love her books so much, and this book has a second chance romance, which is done really well here, when the two main characters, who have long since broken up, are forced to drive to this wedding together, and they're stuck in a car for several hours with some interesting side characters. We kind of see the way their relationship began and how it fell apart. It's told in alternating timelines, and it's just really done so well. It was so funny and really heartwarming, and I loved all of the side characters almost as much as I loved the romance between the two leads. So definitely check this one out. The next one I have is Wow, No Thank You by Samantha Irby. This is a collection of essays, and they are so funny. It's nonfiction, so it's all about her life, and she just writes like very refreshing, real stories and things you can relate to, and it just felt like telling stories with a friend. She talks about things that are wonderful and funny, and then some things that like we might not share generally. She really like lays it all out there, and I really enjoyed this so much. I found myself laughing out loud so many times, so I highly recommend this one as well. The last book I have is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. I loved Casey McQuiston's debut novel, Red, White, and Royal Blue, and I love this one just as much. This book follows August, who recently moved to New York and is trying to find her way. She falls in with these really great group of roommates, and then she meets Jane. She meets Jane on the subway, and she only ever sees Jane on the subway. But come to find out, Jane's stuck there. Jane is from the 1970s, and she's stuck on the Q train, just traveling back and forth. So it's a little bit of a complicated romance, but it's just so well done. It felt so original. I loved the characters so much. The romance in this was so beautiful. It's a little bit of a slow burn, but so well done. 100% loved all of these characters so much, so definitely check this one out. I love sharing my favorite reads with you guys. These three you can find here at the Bourbonnais Public Library or on Libby and Access 360. And you can also find The House in the Cerulean Sea through Interlibrary Loan or on Libby or Hoopla.